Welcome to the Terrible Video Gamers Game Club. We are making a book club for video games. I'm your host, Josh Cox, joined by Tyler Schatz
Hi there.
and Alex Purdy.
Oh, fellow terrible gamers.
This week, we've been playing whatever we've wanted to. We finished the season last episode, and we've been taking some time to think about what games we want to throw into our next randomizer selection, where we'll pick 2 games each and throw them in there and see what we end up going to. But in the meantime, what have we all been playing since the end of Game Club? Whenever we've had free reign. Any particular games you've been playing, Shotzi?
Sure, yeah, I can start us off here. One of the things is I'm still drawn into the Call of Duty Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Warzone, or whatever you want to call it, Call of Duty Warzone. I still play that game just quite a lot because it's mainly a game I can get together with a bunch of friends still who are still like on consoles and everything like that. So it's a nice cross-console game to just kind of sit down and play every night for every so often. Then I've been bouncing around a bunch of other games on my computer. So check off Among Us again we did that
That's right.
a big group session here with a couple of you guys. That was good to finally just get a whole lobby full of people there, I would say.
Yeah, it's really great. That new map is cool. I like it.
It's a very big map, so I'm interested to see what it's like when they bump it up to the 15-player limit here at some point in time.
I missed that they were going to be doing that.
I mean, it's in one of their latest like developer updates.
That would involve
15-player lobby.
knowing that they even did developer updates.
It was listed like 2. It's just something I happened to catch in Steam one day, so I was like, "Oh, that's cool." So
Isn't the developer one guy too? So it truly is the developer.
The developer.
I think it's 3 people if I remember
okay.
watching the Game Awards correctly, like when they were getting a bunch of awards. Then outside of that, JC and we jumped into that GTFO game one night and
Yep.
had
we did.
a time with it.
Yeah, I've part of another community I'm in was talking about like, oh, get GTFO, it's great, and they even warned me like, yeah, you just really need 4 people to play it. So like, we have a hard time playing it, and I assumed like that they were just like old hands, and so like the way that they play, they need 4 people and all that stuff at their difficulty. Shotzi and I found out no, you pretty much need 4 people from the get go. From moment 1, it helps to have 4 people in that game probably, because as 2 people, we were just getting shellacked. Like, it's one of those games where you sneak around and sometimes stuff just pops off and you have to kill everything that comes hoarding at you. And we just did not have enough firepower with 2 guns to keep them back. And that was it. You just straight up need more guns. Like, we were getting good shots on everybody. Just, nope, getting overwhelmed. So, we'll see.
And then the other game, yeah, we'll have to maybe think about going back to that at some point in time.
Yeah.
Or
Convince more people to play a game. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing I'll just touch on that I've been playing a little bit was I've been testing out some more games on Game Pass, and I tried this game, Zombie Army 4 Dead War. Or I should say Zombie Army 4: Dead War.
Right.
It's from the same people who did the Sniper Elite series, I believe. That's the game series.
Yeah.
You heard of it before, Perd?
I've heard of the Sniper Elite series, definitely. Yeah.
So it's got that same kind of mechanic there, basically, where if you're shooting something with a sniper rifle and it triggers somehow, some way, I still haven't figured out how it triggers that. Like if you get a headshot, it'll like slow everything down and trail the bullet as it goes blasting through the guy's skull. Or the big claim to fame too is shooting the testicles off of something, which is weird that zombies have testicles, but whatever.
They're people too.
Hey, don't zombie shame.
Hey,
Well, wasn't that the
zombies are not on my level, man.
was it I Zombie where the zombie learns to love with a human girl? I can't remember.
No,
It was like
Cold Heart, Warm
Robot
Heart,
almost.
Slightly Warm or something like that.
yeah.
I know what you're talking about, but yeah, that's one of those movies.
Type.
Oh, that looks interesting. Never saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Warm
generally
Bodies.
been it.
Yeah.
Warm Bodies.
Yeah. There we go.
But that has generally been it for me here too, and I guess dabbling a little bit with Titanfall 2 here on the PC.
Yeah. I should hop into that at some point. At some point, I revenge, not revenge. I just like anger bought everybody on the PC at the time a copy of Titanfall 2 because Apex just like decided to microtransact the hell out of everything that they were doing at the time, and they like it was the first time they actually locked items for an event behind money. And so I just said, well, if you want me to spend money on Respawn products, I'm not going to spend it on Apex. So I'll get Titanfall 2 for everybody. We'll play that instead. So
You showed him.
yep. That's
Those devs were like, wait, what is he doing?
yep. And
He should be.
I no longer play Apex, so it shows how that went for him.
Titanfall is just so great, though.
It is. Yep. I'll hop into Titanfall far before I'll hop into Apex, probably. Especially because, like you, I hopped back into Modern Warfare with you for a night, and then also just did some multiplayer another night, and I think I'm good on Modern Warfare again. I downloaded another 200 gigabytes just to get a few hours of fun out of it. It's just, the time to kill for that Warzone is just awkward, I guess, for how I like to play games. I just don't see stuff soon enough. Maybe that's just on me. Maybe I just need to get good, but I just don't want to invest that amount of time to get good on it. And so I just end up just getting wrecked and don't need it. Gosh, what else have I been playing? Mostly just DCS, probably. Just been getting reacquainted with a bunch of stuff that came out on a patch near the end of the season of GameClub Season 1. So getting into all the new stuff there, and I'm sort of reacquainting. I'm going to teach a course on how to fly one of the planes in DCS to a community that I'm part of. So that's going to be exciting. I need to also design the course first. So I've gone ahead and signed up for tons of work here.
So for everyone who's not familiar, let's explain what is DCS, JC, and what is
okay.
the big thing that came out recently.
So DCS is Digital Combat Simulator. It's a flight simulator. Like, I'm sure you've seen the Microsoft Flight Simulator with all the clouds and everything like that. I find Microsoft Flight Simulator terribly tedious because you're going, a couple 100 miles an hour at best. DCS, you hop into an F-18 or an F-16 or an F-14. You're strapped to 2 jet engines and just going ballistic and fight. Like, it has all the combat missiles and bombs and everything like that. So, yeah, it's fantastic. They skipped 2.6, but they went to their 2.7 update from 2.5, and now they've got fancier clouds in that. They've got a whole bunch of different, just a bunch of systems that they're continually adding to planes. They kind of release a plane, and it's not, it's very in-depth simulation, so it takes it a while to get up to the full level of everything's included and modeled. So they'll release a plane that, for example, you can fly it and take it around, but it doesn't have all of its weapons yet. And then they'll add the basic bombs, and then they'll add basic missiles, and then so it's just stepping up one go at a time. So, yep, in this case, with the F-18, they added a few new weapons and systems to the weapons that were already there. So, just been taking my time learning that stuff. What I like about something like that over like a Modern Warfare is that you can just go ahead and take it completely at your own pace. Like, if I'm having a rough time in DCS at learning whatever I'm trying to do, I could just hop into a server by myself and just focus on just basic flying and just working on that little thing. Nobody else is responsible for my good time. It's just me. So that's what I like about that, as opposed to all the other matchmaking style multiplayer games. I think that's really been it. I don't know that I played much else since then. I went ahead the same day that I downloaded Modern Warfare. I did re-download and update Apex, but I just haven't hopped into it yet. Let me check Steam. See if I'm
tried that new character really badly, Valkyrie.
I'm 3 or 4 characters behind, I feel like, at this point.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, I've only been not playing for, I don't know, since September, October-ish, and I'm very far behind too. Mm-hmm. Never played Fuse, Valkyrie. Seems like there's a few more. Well, is it my turn to say what I've been playing?
Yeah, just looking through my profile just to make sure I'm not missing anything. But yeah, I don't think no, this is not sorted by recent. So yeah, Among Us and GTFO are my recent things, and that's it. So yeah, I'm caught up. What have you been playing, Bird?
Well, as who I think is JC's primary wingman, I've been playing DCS with him a fair amount, being his guinea pig for his A10C2 course.
Yep, teaching the
Warthog.
Badass
plane. Shotzi and audience, it is not a plane so much as it is a gun that has wings.
Yep.
And
For I think you told me about this before, JC. It's basically they made a gun and then they built a
Yeah.
plane around it, right?
It's a 30 millimeter
Exactly.
revolving cannon, and they said, all right, it's got to be this long to be this accurate, and then they put the plane shape around it. Like the front, if you look at the front of an A10 Warthog in a picture, just pull up A10 Warthog in a picture, you look straight on at it. The front landing gear is actually slanted off center, or not slanted, but it's off center. It doesn't go straight down the middle of the plane because that's where the gun goes. You can't fit the gear and the gun in the same place. So, yeah, it's a rad little plane. It just does work.
it's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, DCS, the other main game I've been putting many an hour into, actually surprising myself, for reasons I'll explain in a minute, is Subnautica Below Zero, which is still in early access. I got it basically to support the devs and pre-order it, more or less, because if you bought the early access, you got the update for free and whatever. So I thought like, oh, maybe I would just like check out the beginning, look at the differences in the world, and wait for it to come out in 4 days from now. And 17.4 hours later, I am still playing it because it's just, oh, I love this type of game so much. Um, I guess because it's a game that's technically not released, I shouldn't talk too much about it. But
I mean, hey, if you're enjoying it, then that's always the
Yeah.
weird thing with early access stuff. Like, technically, some of those planes are in DCS are early access, but like they're out there. You can play them. They're in a state where you spend time with them. You can talk about them, like whatever.
Pay money for it.
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
talk about it.
That's my thought.
good point. But
But when we were going
guess
through season one's the lost episode, whenever we talked about our games that we chose, like I'm pretty sure you said Subnautica, the original, was your favorite game of all time, right?
oh, did I say it's my favorite of all time? I mean,
At least it was top. At least if
yeah,
not
I'd
that.
say it's in my
Let me check.
top
I've got notes.
1%.
Favorite games ever, Subnautica is what I have in the notes for TVG
Oh,
season
dang.
1.
Must have been drinking. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's definitely one of my top favorite games. I just struggle to say it's the favorite.
No.
But yeah, it's totally like my type of game. Kind of like what you said, JC. You can take it at your own pace. You know, if I want to just spend one day farming fish and resources and not advancing the storyline in any fashion, I can. Or if I just want to fly through the story and if something really exciting is coming up, I can just go for it and not worry so much about the other stuff if I want to kind of put it off. I feel like I'm slowly conquering my, is it called thalassophobia with the game a little bit? Like I feel like I have
fear
a
of
little
deep
bit of
water?
a fear of
Okay.
the water. I mean, like
I
I'm
misheard
not
Thales,
terrified to
but
go.
all right.
Oh, what's on your mind?
Ha Jokes. I got them.
Like I'm not afraid of the ocean, but the game is unsettling, especially the first Subnautica. It's well, to be honest, it's terrifying at points. This one, for whatever reason, is not as scary. It's still scary sometimes, but it's not quite as bad. Maybe I'm just used to it or something. I don't know. But yeah, that and DCS are pretty much it. I try to play a game of World of Warships here and there, and I get about 2.5 minutes into a match, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is why I don't play this game very much anymore. So it's usually one match.
What tier are you playing at this point?
I kind of hop around. I only have one line that I've grinded up to tier 10, the U.S. battleships. But right now I'm trying to get to my first tier 10 cruiser, so I'm playing the Des Moines, or not the Des Moines, I'm sorry, the Seattle, getting up to, what's the tier 10 there?
I think the Des Moines is the tier 10.
Worcester?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
You can split
yeah,
it. Yep.
Yep. So yeah, it's just kind of an HE spamming plane or ship, and it's just kind of boring.
Yep.
But yeah, so those are my games.
Yeah. I got to tier 8 with World of Warships, and that, yep, got to that point where I'm just like, nope, I'm relying on other people to have a good time. And the people in World of Warships do not want you to have a good time.
Well, and it's so annoying because you can get rewarded for playing really stupidly. And you can play perfectly and get shafted by the RNG with like dispersion and other things with your main guns, which is just so infuriating. Like I can take my time, be patient, kind of get into a good spot strategically for the match. Someone shows full broadside, I should absolutely destroy them in one salvo from my, however many millimeter guns. Instead, it's just like 2 over penetrations, 1 pen. They're fine, and then their whole team comes and just destroys me. But I digress.
Oh, you done, Bird? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say this is kind of a joke too, but I've been playing one more game that I just remembered about.
Oh yeah,
The Great Graphics Card Hunt of 2021,
right.
which I finally beat that fucking game this
There
past
you go.
Friday here. So,
Frog Fractions 3. You did it.
yep.
You only had to pay what if you wanted to divulge, but you had to buy a monitor with it as well, right? As
Had to
part
buy
of
a
it.
monitor
So
with it.
added on
So
to the cost.
I got it as part of the new egg shuffle there, basically, which I
Yeah.
kind of just sort of entered as just a whim of like, well, I'll take one with a monitor. That'll be fine here. It looks like a nicer monitor than what I've got now. But I got the notice like Friday as I'm getting ready to like go pick up groceries from the store. It's like, hey, you won. You should go in and buy this stuff now. I'm like, okay.
When does it all
That-
come? When's it all delivered?
Thursday and Friday. So it's a great thing I have Friday off. So
Perfect. There you go.
weekend long 3080 stream while I play Mass Effect.
There you go. Because that comes out this weekend, right?
Yep.
All
Mass Effect Legacy and
Legendary edition. Oh, yeah.
Stars are aligning for you, Tyler.
Yeah.
But I'm.
In the one part of my life where
Oh, I lost shots here.
Me too. This happens to him once a podcast.
Yeah, once a cast. Yeah.
am I here? Am I back now?
Yep. You started to come back.
Yeah.
Try to talk into the mic that's right next to you, maybe.
Yeah.
I was going to say basically, yeah, like I'm getting lucky in one part of my life that I could absolutely care less if I get lucky or not, but
Yeah. How it goes.
Oh, well.
Getting deep.
yeah.
I guess yeah. In terms of one more games, yeah, I've also I have my 3DS. I've dug that out and I've been playing Picross 3D as my wind down game after I just turn the computer off and I just do a couple of puzzles overnight or not overnight, but as I just lay in bed, drift on and off, and it turns out the 3DS does not have a very dim screen, so usually whenever I turn it on, it just blinds me for a second, and then shuffle through that and see how far I can get, and I've already completed all of the puzzles in Picross 3D 2 once, and so now I'm going through it again. Just one of those things. I just like those Picross 3D puzzles. So
There you go.
Ashley plays this new puzzle game now where it's a gradient and she has to get the colors in order basically. And it's kind of crazy because I don't have any color blindness as far as I'm aware, but some of these colors are so similar. It makes it very difficult to discern them, but the end results are usually very satisfying.
Nice. Does you have to make them gradient into a pattern specifically, or is it just always from top left to bottom right or something?
I guess I'm not sure on that second part, but yeah, it's darkest color to lightest color in some sort of order. So usually the extremes are obviously very, very easy to spot, but then once you get towards the middle, it's just is this color darker? I don't know.
How it goes. But yeah, so that's what we've been playing lately, and so this is all after we did our 6 games that we went through, each choosing 2. So, let's just go around and we were kind of discussing it before. Let's just kind of talk about how we felt after the season. So, any sort of lowlights that anybody particularly had over the season they wanted to mention.
You just for everybody again, JC, sound off on the 6 games that we.
Sure. So yeah, we started. I might get the order wrong here, but we did Telltale's The Walking Dead season 1 from the adventure game style, the little cel-shaded thing based off the comic book. We had the Stanley Parable. We did Forza Horizon 4, Outer Wilds, Risk of Rain, and Deliver Us the Moon. That's definitely not in the order. I recognize that by the end, but yep. So yeah, any particular lowlights that anybody wants to share? I mean, I could, for sure, one of them would be Forza Horizon 4 for me is one of the lowlights. The gameplay of it was fantastic, but then just the crippling multiplayer bugs were just so frustrating. Because I think we even we didn't even go the full 2 weeks on that one, did we? For our game club, did we cancel it early and record before our 2 weeks were up?
Yeah, I think we did about a week and a half, and I'll echo that same thing too. That just being one of the lowlights is just we so wanted to enjoy that game, but the multiplayer just would not let us.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, I'm gonna break away and say my low light was The Walking Dead. Because I remember
Yeah.
specifically saying on podcasts, I think too, I at one point was falling asleep while playing it.
Yeah.
No shade to Telltale. Great story, I'm sure.
Not a game for you.
Yeah.
Not my thing. But
No, that's
hey,
all right.
that's
Yeah.
the whole point, right?
Exactly. It's not all these are going to be games for us, and yeah. So any other particular lowlights we wanted to bring up here while we're on the subject?
Mine would probably be the Outer Wild, just because I just ran into
Called it.
this. I just basically like hit this wall or something like that with the game where just like I'm not making progress. I don't really know what to do next. I'm just gonna kind of stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And
one thing that was tough about that game. They don't really like push you in the right direction. Once you start finding the clues, you push yourself in that direction.
Yeah.
But if you just spawn and you kind of forgot what to do, they're not going to be like, "Hey, maybe you should check out." I mean, you could check the ship log, I suppose.
yeah,
But
the ship log is the one aspect of that kind of helps guide you. But even then, early on, if you don't go to the right places and look at specifically the right things at those places, you're not going to have enough to go and look at the log and figure out like, oh, this is all connecting here. If I go to this place, it'll tell me more. So I don't know. It's one of those things that I can't fault somebody for that. As much as I loved the Outer Wilds, I'd probably say it was one of my favorite games we played this season, which we'll talk about in a bit. But as much as I loved it, I have to go back to the fact that the first time I played the Outer Wilds, I did the same thing. I've walked around for a while and I went like, I've heard people saying good things about this game, but I'm just kind of lost and I'm confused and I'll just do something else. And so yeah, it was just something about heading back to it a second time was what I needed. And I don't know, maybe if Shotzi gives it another try a later time, then maybe that might work for him. But he already knows the story now too, after his both watching a speed run after he gave up on it, and then also being there for us as we recorded and watched you hit the end. So he experienced it the slow way as well. Yeah.
I will say though, that game, the music was just fantastic in that game. I need to put it back on Spotify here one of these times when I'm working, just to kind of take it back in again, because I just remember firing up the game and just that intro music plays and it's like this is good music.
Oh yeah, and I just now thought about like the very end music as like the universe is doing its thing, and yeah, just I'm already getting a little bit of goosebumps just thinking about like the distorted crackling of the theme just blaring out through it, and oh, such a good soundtrack. If anybody doesn't want to particularly play it, I recommend the Joseph Anderson playthrough. You can watch the highlights on YouTube or the full playthrough on his channel there. He's already a game critic that I enjoy watching anyway, but then he's just goes into the Outer Wilds blind. He's got the chat up as he's streaming, but he has it hidden from himself, so he doesn't actually see it. And so you get both sides of it, where the people who know what's going on are getting to react to the dumb thing he's doing while he's also clueless and figuring it out. So really enjoyable way to watch that.
Was he the guy that you recommended to me that like the first planet he went to was Riddle Hollow?
Yeah. No, he goes to Dark Bramble first.
Bramble.
Yep. He gets into the ship and he goes to the planet that is like all fog and giant angler fish that follow you out of the dark. And that's where he goes first. It's just like one of the trickiest, hardest places. And phenomenally, he doesn't run into a single anglerfish.
Yeah, he survived. He's fine.
Yeah, he just gets a little bit lost for a while, but never runs into an anglerfish until he goes back way later in the game. And he's like, oh, what? There's fish here? What is this? And I'm like, yep. Never having run into it. He has some fantastic things. He, like, at one point, he's probably got, like, let's say 2 to 3 hours of his run is just taking off from Earth or the main planet, and then just trying to land on the sun station as fast as he can. Like he just flings himself full bore and tries to just lodge his ship into there. He just keeps doing it over and over again. He was going to try it. So anyway,
persistence.
Yep, persistence shows you can enjoy a game any way that you want to. I had a segue earlier about something, but
I interrupted you.
Sorry.
No,
I rolled away from you.
Yep, how it goes. So that was our kind of low lights a little bit, but yeah, highlights, like I mentioned, favorite game, probably would be The Outer Wilds. We did want to kind of mention the favorite game that we didn't recommend, though. I'm trying to think of. I should have noted who'd recommended what on my list here. Okay, Risk of Rain was Shotzi, and Telltale: The Walking Dead was Shotzi as well. I recommended The Outer Wilds and The Stanley Parable, and Purdy recommended Deliver Us the Moon and Forza Horizon 4. Forza Horizon 4, I enjoyed that, but I'd also played it before the Game Club. Telltale: Walking Dead is a really good one too. So yeah, between those, Risk of Rain is pretty good. It's weird because I what's that?
I enjoyed that one. Yeah.
Yeah, Risk of Rain was good. Deliver Us the Moon, also good. I had particularly depressing qualms with the story, but beyond that, it was a interesting little thing. And yeah, I mean, I almost maybe broke the scale. Maybe should have started on this one because I have played most of the games on this list. I'd actually only not played 3 of them, and one of them I recommended, so makes that a little tricky to find a favorite game that I didn't recommend. But yeah, Risk of Rain and Deliver Us the Moon, both good games. I was glad to have played them. Especially Risk of Rain because I played the second one a good chunk, and it was good to go back and kind of see like those original roots again and experience that. So yeah, Purdy, you have a favorite game that you didn't recommend, or a particular highlight of a game you didn't, or a game you did?
Yeah, I'd have to go back to Outer Wilds. It's just such a Interstellar-esque in terms of the mind bendingness, and the music was so good, and I'm a space nerd, and I did also hit a wall like Tyler did. Well, not like Tyler, I guess mine was different. I just didn't know where to go, and I was determined to figure it out. Thankfully I had you and guides.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely my highlight.
Yeah, it was a lot of nudging at the end to get, because we pushed back the date on that episode a couple times just because we're like, no, Purd's into it. We got to finish this.
It's like I kept like not seeing the clues right in front of me. It was
yeah, and it's tricky like that. Like that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. But yeah, fascinating story once you do piece it all together though, and like if you see everything come together and as you're putting it together, it's like this is a lot going on here. And there's still stuff that I haven't done in that game that I should probably go back and do at some point, like all the different alternate endings you can get where you break space-time and things like that. Just cool little things. Shotzi, favorite game that you did or didn't recommend?
Oh, I'll have to say Forza Horizon 4, even though there's a big asterisk to that because the multiplayer was just such a bummer, but I just had fun just kind of getting in the cars or like getting in the truck, just driving around.
Yeah, it's just a blast to drive around, just tear up some stone walls around the UK for a while.
Yeah, I got I think it was a Ford Raptor in the game. I got that thing all decked out and everything like that, and I had a blast just driving it around basically everywhere that I could. I had more fun driving that than I did the supercars on the road because that thing I could at least take off-road every once in a while too.
Right.
And then I got into this fun one night when we were just driving around the quarry there, just seeing how long I could get a chain multiplier going with that truck because it was just so easy to keep it drifting while you're driving through all of the fences and trees and stuff like that, which is, I think I mentioned during that podcast, I'm just like, I like doing that in video games because for so long, basically, it's like video games told you couldn't do that, but now they're starting to let us just drive into stuff in the environment, and it's so much fun.
It really is. Turns out just going ballistic is good times.
And then I pulled up a list here I kind of could have too. I think I put Deliver Us the Moon as my second favorite game they're kind of playing because it was just overall just kind of an interesting story to me. I didn't dive as deep into the humanity is terrible as you did, JC.
That's just how I am, I guess. Yeah.
But I thought the story was okay, although it's really weird because that game is definitely not a game I would have ever seeked out on my own because I think I equated it at one point in time to somewhat of a walking simulator because you don't do too much in the game other than walk from point A to point B, watch some video logs in front of you, and then keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, light on the action, but it's there. It breaks up the story a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if I were to have to say between the two games that I recommended, Risk of Rain, obviously I don't need to say anything more about that game. I think I've said enough about it.
Just share the picture of you spending 3 hours on a single run on easy mode, just accumulating wealth. Just rich
Yep.
getting richer.
Yep.
Yep. That's about all you can say on that one. So yeah, any other kind of takeaways beyond the games specifically from the first season? Any sort of like, oh man, like kind of like you had there, like you wouldn't have normally played Deliver Us the Moon, but it turns out you really liked it. Like, are you going to seek out those sorts of games more often now, or just still going to look at it and go like, no,
I think
that was an outlier. I'm gonna stick to my general rule.
I think it's still just something like I need kind of the push to go check a game out or whatever.
Mhm.
That's kind of the big thing for me with a lot of stuff is I don't venture out too far out of the comfort zone for
Yeah.
me.
Do
But
you think that the barrier to get pushed for something like that is now lower for having enjoyed Deliver Us the Moon though? So like before, if someone had just said like, "Oh, Deliver Us the Moon, go check it out," would you have just been like, doesn't look like my thing? And now, do you think it would be enough for you to just have a strong recommendation from somebody to be like, well, okay, sure? Or do you still think roughly the same?
I'd probably say I lean a little slightly more towards like if somebody were to give me a strong recommendation, I might consider it more now than I would have before in the past.
There we go. Changing hearts and minds.
One,
Game Club.
one day at a time.
One walking simulator at a time. Oh. Did you have more to go off there? I did kind of interrupt you to get that question out.
Oh, no, I think that was kind of it. Like I guess the only thing that still stands out was just my being stuck on Outer Wilds, which I I just still can't quite figure out what it was about that game. Like I just got to a point where I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, I don't really want to keep spending more time with it.
Yeah, and I get that too at times where it's like just that confusion of in a game like sets me off to the point where it's like I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know it's wrong. Like you don't know how to then correct it. So like that can just be super frustrating. I mean, I was talking earlier about DCS and like it's a very complex game and I love it right now. I've owned DCS modules. I've owned the A10 Warthog since 2009. I just got into it last May. So like I finally got over the intimidation because like I would hop into the cockpit like, once, twice a year and just click around on switches and go like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then I'd back out and be done. Like it would be, an hour and a half a year that I was trying to put into it. And just something about the way that the COVID lockdown happened and just got into it and something finally clicked and gates were off. So yeah. Bird, any big takeaways from the first season?
Big takeaways. Oof. I guess maybe a little bit more of what Tyler said. I just kind of excited to try more different games. I mean, I like doing them with you guys, so I'm still not sure I would just do them alone on a whim, but it's kind of fun to like get yourself out of a gaming rut where you're just playing the same thing continually and maybe not enjoying it as much and just change up the pace. So that's kind of my big takeaway from the first season.
Fair enough. Kind of on that note, I do remember the question I had before now. So without getting into spoilers for the games we will be bringing into the second season here, did the games of the first, can you see a through line of games that you chose for the second season to where they were influenced by the games of the first season at all? Even if it was just like, oh, we didn't play something like this at all last season, and now I want to choose that this year.
Well,
It's going to be a long season, I guess, this season.
So one of mine I've already told you about, JC, so you've got
Yep.
kind of a clue of what's coming.
Yeah.
Um, I will say my like through line is, like the games that I'm recommending are two games that are one of them's in a genre I would never have played before. I had no reason to ever want to stick my toe into playing this genre ever. And this other one is just it's kind of a historical game that would be kind of interesting to go back and check in on just to kind of see what it's like, although it's slightly different from what it's based off of. Basically, like my two games, this one game came out of basically just me looking at a list I had created a long time ago on our favorite gaming website, giantbomb.com, of just games that I had never played before. These big talked about games that I had just never played before. So I pulled this one out of there. I was like, this would be kind of an interesting one to see, kind of. So
Perfect.
I'm taking more of a chance this time of just trying
There
new
you go.
games myself instead of me being the one to know all about these games bringing you guys into it, like I did kind of like as the example, Risk of Rain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I would echo the same sentiment. Like the Outer Wilds was the vastly more enjoyable of my personal picks compared to the Stanley Parable, where I already knew everything about the Stanley Parable. Yeah, not everything. There were still some new points there, but it was still like going in completely blind to something and just being able to enjoy something for the first time is still preferable to going in and just reliving an experience you've already had, I think. So yeah, probably had similar things. Perd, any big through lines for you in your selections?
Yeah, I mean, kind of repeating
Similar
what I said.
something?
I purposely I picked a game that I knowingly, like, I would never play otherwise. And I know this to be true, but I've heard good things. So this is a great opportunity to kind of force myself to play something different. The other game is just a genre that I don't hate or I would never play, but it's just something that I came across kind of searching, and I played a different version of the game when I was younger, so it'd be fun to try out this one. And I probably wouldn't if it weren't for this, so why I picked it.
100-hour JRPG. Let's go.
I don't even know what that is.
Japanese role-playing game. Yep. So like the Final Fantasies, etc. of the world.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was thinking. As soon as I hear Japanese, I think of Doki Doki.
Nope. We could. Yeah.
Visual novel. Per.
Oh,
Yep. That is a visual novel. Yeah.
I think we had the same conversation during one of our previous.
Yeah.
No way. No way.
I feel like yeah.
Yeah, I think
does
this came
sound
up
very
one
familiar.
time. But I don't remember when.
It's logged somewhere in a YouTube video. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, are we ready to get into the list and build anew?
I'm ready.
All right. I have the wheel randomizer now. Let me share the screen here for those in attendance. And I've gone ahead and put our 3 names in it so that we will go ahead and use that to determine who goes through and lists a game to go onto the randomizer.
Randomize future randomizer.
Randomize the randomizer. So, first up, Purdy, throw your game into the list.
All right. I'll start off with the game I would intentionally never play if not for this, and that is.
It's going to be one game first, right?
Yep, just one game at a time. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay. It is going to be Dead Space.
All right, the first one.
Ooh.
All right.
Never played it, heard good things about the franchise in general. I don't do horror games very well. I will have multiple pairs of underwear on station, but it should be fun.
Perfect.
Heard.
Well, all right, and then I can introduce you to the first 5 minutes of Dead Space 2, and you can go, oh my god, this is so much more terrifying. So yes, I have played a little bit of the first Dead Space. I probably played more of Dead Space 2. So yeah, I'll be interested to go back and check that out. Awesome. Have you played any of the Dead Spaces at all, Shotzi?
Yeah, I beat the first one on
Okay.
the 360. Then I played it again on my PC a while ago. I think I started 2, but
So you're
just
an old
got so
hat.
far and just kind of fell off.
Okay.
And I've been waiting for somebody to play 3 with because I know that's a co-op game.
Yep. You can play that one co-op. I've also been curious to play 3 because of some interesting things I've heard. Maybe we'll save that for the episode. But
Yep.
the story from 1 somehow spins off and it gets ridiculous, if you can believe
Yep.
it.
Yep.
So.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about because I think we've talked about that before too.
Yep. I like the Fast and the Furious, where it's like, wait, what? This is happening at the 6th movie? How did I miss that this was happening? How did they ramp up to this? What happened? All right. So, all right. Any other points to mention about Dead Space and why you picked it?
No.
All right. Moving on to the next. Hopefully it's not me. I have to. Oh, get out of there. Purdy.
Again.
All right.
Wow. it's
The
funny 'cause
randomizer.
The last wheel, I got shafted.
This is now your picks. Now you're not going to get to select again until you're not going to get your game selected to actually play
Exactly. Well, my second one is Injustice 2.
Okay. Interesting.
The original Injustice, which I guess for people who don't know, maybe it's kind of a niche game. It's a fighting game, kind of like a Mortal Kombat, right, Tyler? except that
Yes.
it's superheroes from
Yeah.
the DC universe specifically.
Yeah.
There was an iPad game of this that I used, or maybe iPod, I can't remember. Like the original Injustice,
Okay.
there was an app a long time ago, and I played the crap out of it, if I remember correctly, when I was a teenager, maybe.
Do you have an Xbox controller now?
I have one that I borrowed from Tyler. That,
Okay, all
I'm
right.
just
So
waiting
yeah,
for him
I
to
was
ask for back. But
I was gonna say, mouse and keyboard with the fighting game would be a rough time, I would expect. So yes,
Fun fact, Bird, Injustice 2 is made by the same developer that makes the Mortal Kombat games.
yep, it is the same developer
well,
behind it.
There
Yep.
you go.
Yep, just a little less
Might have
blood,
to-
a little more cape, and there you go.
You might
More
have to
muscle.
spend the $9 that's on the Xbox version to play as the Ninja Turtles. Since it's on.
Jeez.
So
I did
just to-
see that, and I
Yep.
thought you would like that.
So just so everyone knows too, so we are all aware, Injustice 2 is on Game Pass here.
Okay,
Both
perfect.
of these are on Game Pass, which is
Okay.
just
Awesome.
lucky on the Dead Space. I did see Injustice as I was scrolling through a couple days ago, and kind of got my gears going there.
Mm-hmm.
So Dead Space would be on there because of the EA integration
Yeah.
into the Game
Oh,
Pass
yeah.
Ultimate stuff.
All of them are on there. Yep.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, that is some eclectic choices. I approve. Those are going to be out of my normal wheelhouse as well. I played a decent amount of the first Injustice, but yeah, that's all right. Purdy, choose a third game. Let's remove you here.
There you go.
50-50. Shotzi. All right, I'm just not
All
going
right.
to pick.
First one I'm going to talk about, this is the one you haven't heard of, JC.
Okay.
So on my list here was like Half-Life 1, that game. I was like, I've never played Half-Life. It is kind of like a big game to talk about playing. But then I'm like, I don't know if I really want to go back and play the old Half-Life. And I remembered, oh yeah, that's right. There's a fan recreation of the game called Black Mesa that's out there that's actually done now.
Well,
So I'm going to recommend we do Black Mesa. And it's
Black
basically
Mesa.
Half-Life 1 remade in the Source engine here to look nice and pretty and all of that.
yeah, awesome. Because I've had that on my wish list forever. I don't think I own it, but
I don't
Yeah.
own this one for sure. This will be my first purchase in Game Club history too.
you've been lucky so far.
Yep.
Black Mesa. Yeah, $20 on wish list. Probably on my wish list since I thought it told you at one point.
It does, I think.
Maybe it's actually in the wish list. It tells you.
No, well, for me, yeah. When you actually look at the wish list,
Yeah,
it's
I was
there.
just added on June 7th, 2015. So it's time. I suppose I can go ahead and
It's time.
suppose I can choose that then. All right. Let's see. So yeah. Interesting. Have you done any of the Half-Life stuff at all, Purdy? Have you played any Source games as far as you know, like Portal, Counter-Strike, anything like that?
Well,
I've played Portal.
So yeah, it's the same engine and same developers behind Half-Life. And Half-Life was kind of the seminal first-person shooter that really just kind of introduced story as a cool thing you could do in shooters. So, yeah.
I wanted to
Fun
play
little lineage.
Half-Life Alex, the VR game, because that's like the gold standard VR game, as far as I'm aware. It's rated
Yeah,
very highly on everything. But
yeah. I've done a little bit of it, and it's rad. You know, like the sense of scale, which will be great to, I think, for you to experience the sense of scale in something like a Black Mesa first, and then go to Half-Life Alex, because like I've played Half-Life 2 and a bunch of the different stuff there. And, you know, there's all these giant tall things called striders that are towering over buildings and stuff. And in game, you just like look up on a 2D screen and you are looking up at these things and it's like, oh, they're tall. Cool. But then whenever one of those shows up in Half-Life Alyx, you're like, oh my God, this thing is gigantic. What? I'm going to get crushed. I'm a bug to this thing. So, yeah, it really puts you in that world in a great way. So, yeah. Had you done... or Shotzi, I know you did Portal yourself as well. Had you done any Half-Lives aside from number one?
played Half-Life 2 back on the original Xbox.
With the orange box? Whenever
Nope, this is actually just Half-Life 2. I bought the standalone
Interesting.
game
There you
at
go.
one point in time on the original Xbox.
Huh, there you go. I didn't know they came out with that as a standalone.
Yeah. I
All
don't
right.
know if I still have it or not, but
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
got it from the local Blockbuster.
Went on down to the local bomb and pop. Bought myself a
Five and
video game.
dime.
All right. My first selection here. I only have about 15 games to choose from, and with my schedule today, I actually didn't have a chance to narrow them down, so I'm just kind of looking through them here. In the interest of games that I have not played, I think I'm going to go towards Slay the Spire. This is a game. It's kind of a dungeon crawling card game. From my understanding, I haven't actually looked into it much. I just know the folks that do play it freaking love this game. It's like you build a deck, and then that's like your adventuring equipment going through the game, and you just kind of go ahead and keep battling, and I assume earning more stuff. I honestly don't know much about it. Any of y'all seen much about this?
Nope.
So at some point in time during that probably one of the holidays or sales or whatever, where they have you like browse a queue, to look at all the other games.
Yeah.
This one must have came up, and I clicked ignore on it because it was a card battling game, and I'm like, nope. So
Yeah, it was one of those things. Yeah, it is. Oh gosh, I've accidentally turned on a video. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't, like, the graphics don't look like the thing that I necessarily enjoy, and it's that card battling thing. But it's not so much like a Hearthstone style, from my understanding. It's not like a Hearthstone style where you are, laying down multiple cards and battling that way across a table. It's more like kind of one-on-one or small group style things as you continue to progress throughout a dungeon. So I'm interested to try it out at the very least. If I hate it, oh well, I tried something new. That's kind of my thoughts on it. So Slay the Spire. I should probably add these things to it here. So Slay the Spire. Okay. Before I roll the wheel and choose this, have either of you played the game called Frog Fractions?
I played
No.
like a little tiny bit of it on the web browser when
Okay.
I first heard about it from the Game of the Year podcast.
Okay. Yep. All right. So I would say don't necessarily need to look anything up for it, but that may influence another decision of mine. So rolling the wheel here. And it is me for the next choice here. So, I'm not sure what the actual runtime of this other game is. Let me just do a quick search here. Killing time. So the first
I
Frog
bought that
Fractions was a browser game, like Shotzi mentioned, where you start off and you are a frog on a lily pad, and the game has these like fractions somehow involved. You're not actually doing any math, but the fractions are like floating in the air, and you have to grab the fractions out of the air with your frog tongue, and you go up and stick it to them, and you're eating flies and things like that. And the game ends up being much, much more than you might expect at first. And so this game is in that lineage. It's called Glittermitten Grove. I have not played it. I have not seen much of it. It's just supposed to be one of those things, just like Frog Fractions, where there is a game and then there's also more to it than you might expect. So if I'm guessing that y'all have not seen much of this then, so perfect. In that case, yes, Glittermitten Grove will be my second choice. Try not, I would say, if Frog Fractions was any indication, don't watch too much about it ahead of time. Just go ahead and see what you
Tyler,
find.
did you hear that? No, watching speed
Yep,
runs.
check the speed run.
Hey, I only checked the speed run after I decided I was done.
Fair
with the
enough.
game.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and hide the choice and get one more spin of the wheel. And it's Shotzi. Final choice.
Oh.
Last but
All
not
right.
least.
So I will go ahead and apologize up front for what this last
Oh
game is
my
going to
God.
be.
Oh, Purdy,
So-
do you have any idea what he might be suggesting with something with all this preamble he's been doing?
I don't, but I'm still very nervous.
So a little history about me. I have never ever played an MMORPG. That would be your games like WoW. What's the other one? Like Guild Wars? Is that the other
Guild
one?
Wars is an MMO.
Well, I
RuneScape is
guess
one. Oh, are you a
technically, yes,
RuneScape?
I did play RuneScape like way back in the day. Yes, back
You can
before
go
it
back to
went
it. They have
3D.
RuneScape Classic. You can go right back to it.
I have it on Steam. I know.
I
Oh,
used to talk to all the ladies on RuneScape.
I married somebody in RuneScape for 1,000 coins at the
Ooh.
time. But
uh,
so the game I'm going to suggest is an MMO,
Oh god.
but it's using one of the biggest IPs out there in history. I'm going to suggest we play Star Wars: The Old
I
Republic.
knew it. I knew it. Wait, why are you
Because-
apologizing? Oh wait, no. Isn't this one? Go on. I'm sorry.
This is not Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah,
Grim.
exactly. That's exactly my
this
thoughts.
is
yep.
massively multiplayer online game, The Old Republic.
Yep.
Made by BioWare. It's one of the biggest RPG or MMOs that has like huge amounts of story content to it, I believe, and a lot of
yep.
voice acted dialogue.
That's the big ticket
that's-
for it.
Yeah,
Is the voice acting.
and I'm a big fan of the Knights of the Old Republic games. I kind of like that universe, and this is kind of set back in that time frame. So I'm curious to see about it. I know JC played it a while ago with one of our mutual friends there.
Mm-hmm.
I did not jump on the bandwagon then because I just knew I will get sucked into
You were
a game
smart.
like this.
Yep.
And probably
You got
never come out. But I think now's the time to kind of at least just try out to see what an MMO is all about.
There you go. Yep. No time like the present to get into Star Wars: The Old Republic.
We'll find out later to close down the server.
Yeah, that's probably our luck. Is like, oh, yep, the server's just off. Yep.
I think it's still active. I keep checking in on it on Steam.
Yeah. There's.
But this is a free to play game too, so we won't have to be putting any money into it unless you want to. And
Is
we
it
won't be doing
still-
any of the
Still
expansions?
updates and stuff. Look at that.
Look at them.
Isn't this
Adding
game
stuff.
like almost as old as me?
Come on, sir. It's
When did it
It
come
was
out? It's got to be
announced in
early
2008.
2000s, right?
2011, December 20th,
Yeah.
2011.
Well, now I feel bad.
yeah. I mean, the original
That's
Knights of the
10
Old
years
Republic
old.
was 2002, 2003.
Maybe that's when I'm still getting confused. Okay.
So yeah. Well, cool. I'm trying to see if there's a listing of the prices. Subscribe now. There we go. Oh, you can't. Well,
If you take a look at it in Steam, I think there's a bunch of stuff. Like there's the free version to play, which is what I will suggest we play.
nah, I'm gonna reactivate my account. Gosh.
And then you can pay $15 for 30 days for their subscription. They got a bunch of coins you can purchase.
15 for 30.
Yep, $15 for 30 days.
That's what I was afraid of. Yep, sounds good. That's what I recall. Yep, I think I might still. Let's check my phone. I might have the Star Wars like 2-factor app still on my phone somehow. No, I don't. There is a phone that I just recently got rid of that probably still has that on there. So I was just like, well, if I ever need to get into my account, it'd be handy to still have this. Because I'm a nightmare hoarder of digital goods.
Exactly.
All right, so Star Wars: The Old Republic. At the very least, like as mentioned, I've played this game before, so it's you can have some fun with it. Especially in the typical Game Club time frame, I feel like I hit sort of a wall with it 15, 20 hours in once the grind started getting particularly bad, but especially the early levels, we'll have a good time, I think.
Did you complete out your character's storyline in
Nope.
your playthrough? Okay.
Nope. And yeah, that'll be interesting because we'll have to kind of decide if we want to play it together, kind of, or separately, because there are different paths as you go through the opening levels to like where you will be on completely different worlds and all these different things that your missions are on. So we'll have to do some talking about it once we get to that point and see how we want to go about it. Maybe we can have multiple characters. We'll just really get into it.
Some deep role playing going here.
That's right.
I'll be a dirty space trader.
Yep. All right. Well, does anyone have any games that they want to mention that like didn't make the list? or just saving them for next season?
I have one I was considering, but I'm going to save that for next season.
Okay, fair enough.
The Old Republic basically came up as soon as it kind of just hit my mind. It was like, yep, this is what I'm going to put down for mine. And then it wasn't until me stumbling across my list on the Giant Bob website that I was like, oh yeah, that's right. This would be kind of interesting to play,
Mm.
you know, Half-Life. And I was like, but wait, there's that Black Mesa game out there. Let's do that one instead.
There you go. Well, yeah, I had, like I mentioned, like 15 games. Like some of them were like a game called Pathologic, which is supposedly just like a nightmare to play anyway. It's this like Ukraine developed game that is like punishing in every possible way, but the story is supposed to be fairly rewarding once you get through it, if you can get through it. It's something like some obscenely small amount of players actually even finish the first day of multiple days of multiple playthroughs. So yeah. One game I'll mention, and we might... I'm not sure if y'all have played it. It's called Fez. Have you played it at all?
I know of
No.
it. I have not touched it, though.
Okay. Well, I'm going to keep that one as a Season 3 candidate. I'll just go ahead and call that now. Probably be Season 3. Because, yeah, that game... The reason I didn't choose it was because I have played it, and there's another one of those things where there's stuff going on behind the scenes that you might not be aware of until later on. So yeah, that's a fantastic game. Hotline Miami is one that I was considering just because it's also very different compared to other games we played, with a like super frenetic, fast-paced murder style in a top-down setting. But I don't know, it just felt like a little too heavy for the summer to get into the super fast murder blood rage. So we'll see how the fall looks for Season 3.
That game's got some sick-ass beats, though, to
It
it.
really does. Some awesome music in that game. So yeah. I think that will do it for me. Any other closing thoughts here as we prepare to gear up for... I guess we should probably choose which game we're going to start with, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I've almost forgot about that part. Let's
Oh,
load.
that's what you're actually leading into there.
Oh yeah, I was like, all right, yeah, let's wrap it up. Let's go home. No, yep. No, we can't do a easy copy paste. Dead Space, Injustice 2, Black Mesa, Slay the Spire, Glitter Mitten Grove.
What a name.
All right. Star Wars The Old Republic.
Here we go.
6 games back on the list. Season 2.
We're going to spin it 3 times?
I don't know. Are we?
Well, it landed on me, so we better keep respinning until it doesn't.
Well, it's y'all's call. We can go with the first one for the first one here. We've already technically done multiple spins this episode, just not for the game.
Bird, you make the choice here.
Let's call it Dead Space.
Dead Space.
Randomizer.
It's a randomizer. We can randomize. We should first do a wheel from 1 to 3 to see how many spins we do, and then throw the games in. We're not
It
gonna
is
get...
ironic that I, made the first game choice, and then the first game choice is the first spin. That does seem a little weird, but
Right?
I mean, mathematically, it's possible.
So Dead Space it is. I'm just gonna spin it anyway, just to see what would have happened. Hey, it would have been another pretty choice. But hey,
Jeez.
so Dead Space. Gonna get horror going whenever we get into May here.
Yep.
April showers
Free
bring May terrors.
free on Game Pass, so go get it downloaded.
Yeah.
All I know about it is that it's spooky. So,
Yep.
and it's
That is the
space
case.
zombies, I think, basically, or
Yeah, pretty much.
aliens.
Necromorphs.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that will be. I gotta remember my Origin account info so I can get onto there and
Wait a second.
grab that
Gotta
account.
head to Walmart to get the clothes section.
Right.
Fresh pairs.
Dead Space actually on Game Pass? I'm on my computer right now. I'm typing Dead Space and it's not showing up. It might be on there for the...
Xbox
Under
and
the
not.
PC games
Oh,
section.
yeah. Oh, let's see. EA...
Dead Space 2 are both on there. So I guess not
Yeah,
all of
it
them.
is playable on PC. Got it. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Just making sure. I mean, I already own it on Steam, so that's why I'll be playing mine.
There you go. Yep, I have it on the Origin.
Theorigin.com.
There's gonna be so many
Origin.
launchers, and
Oh
oh
yes.
my gosh, it's so annoying.
Yep, I actually
Welcome to-
already own all three. How about that?
Yep, same here. I own the third one through Origin though.
Yep, same.
First two on Steam.
Yep. All right. Well, English US is my language, I guess. Yep. That's right. All right. It's like Origin forgot who I was because it's been so long since I played Apex. It just like,
Hey,
where do you want games? I don't know.
Are you Josh?
What?
Reckon
Where
the
am I?
English.
Whose PC is this? How did I get here? Why is there already a game installed? What is this? Yeah. All right. So, Dead Space for our first game. First game on the list. First game off the list. All right.
Playtime, I guess
Oh yeah. Yeah.
something we don't discuss very much of, but
No. Yeah. Let's check out how long to beat for Dead Space.
let's see. I put in
This shows 11 hours for main story.
9.8 hours.
Okay. So yeah,
So
10ish hours.
10-hour game. Yep.
So, I would say, I mean, I guess you've already played it and beaten it, but I would say within a couple hours you're going to know the gist of it and the upgrade systems and all that.
Yep.
What was it?
Maybe
God,
2 weeks just since I'm gone all weekend, and potentially next weekend as well.
I was going to suggest that the a 3-week span for this
Okay.
first might be all right, just because I know that you're going to be gone and I've got other things going on coming up soon
works
as well.
for me.
So, yeah. Shotzi, do you want to put the kibosh on that and make us play a video game over the next 2 weeks?
Nope, that's fine. 3
All right.
weeks here.
Sounds good. Give you a chance to. Oh yeah, here's my teen zombie romance search, still from earlier. Perfect. Pulling up the warm bodies result from earlier with our discussion. Well, all right then. Any closing thoughts as we gear up for season 2?
It's quite an eclectic game we have lined up out there.
Yep. It is a list. We should be experiencing a good mix of stuff here.
The whole gamut basically of video
Yep.
games there.
Yeah. And Glittermitten Grove, I honestly don't know what it's going to be. So here we go. And yes, if you have not already played Frog Fraction, I don't know if you can play it online now with Flash gone, I guess.
Oh, well, I guess it's on Steam now.
Yeah. Do you pay for it on there? Did we lose
You do
Chelsea?
have to pay. Well, it's some like weird developer. Am I still here?
Oh, no. Yep. There you go. So yeah, no, it is free. Awesome. Play Frog Fractions Game of the Decade Edition for free. That is awesome. Perfect. So if you want to get yourself a preamble and you're just bored before Glittermitten Grove, then play Frog Fractions Game of the Decade Edition. It's I'm just going to download it right now. It is a time. So that is my closing thought. Purdy, anything to send folks off with?
Smile, make the world a better place every day. It's in terms of gaming, no.
Nice. There you go. Perfect. All right. In that case, we will see all of y'all in 3 weeks with our first game, Dead Space 2. Take care, y'all.
Hi, everyone.
Bye.
We didn't check for emails. Whoops.
No, we didn't have
I'm
any
gonna hard
emails.
guess we didn't have any.
Yep.
Thanks to our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends.
That's right.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Did you want to get on camera, Purd, or are you good?
I'm good.
It's-
I just got out of the shower. My hair's crazy, and I'm like
Ooh.
red in the
Yeah,
face because I
like,
take
look.
really hot showers.
Look at this beautiful hair here, Per. Do you think I care?
Good point.
Do
Oh,
the other part. There we go. So
maybe in a few minutes.
yeah, no worries. So